low, terrain. Too low, terrain. Too low, terrain.
This is the captain. Brace for impact. I played Sully Sullenberger, Chesley Sullenberger, who landed a plane in the Hudson when he was supposed to be flying between LaGuardia and Charlotte, North Carolina, with 154 people on board, with him 155, on January 15th, 2009, a day that could have been one of the blackest in the history of aviation and a very black one in the history of the United States, but it ended up being an extraordinary day.
Why didn't you attempt to return to LaGuardia?
There simply was not enough altitude. The Hudson was the only place that was long enough and smooth enough and wide enough to even attempt to land the airplane safely.
Air traffic testified that you stated you were returning to LaGuardia, but you did not.
I realized I could make it back, and it would have eliminated all the other options. Returning to LaGuardia would have been a mistake.
Okay, well, let's get into how you calculated all those parameters.
There was no time for calculating. I had to rely on my experience of managing the altitude and speed of thousands of flights over 4 decades.
You're saying you didn't do any...
I eyeballed it.
You eyeballed it.
Yes. The screenplay that I thought was so perfectly a blend of behavior and procedure that whatever shortcuts, whatever moments that we have condensed or altered somehow still have the pure DNA of what I think the moment meant.
He was simply following the QRH.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't following proper procedure at all. And I know because I had the QRH in my hands. If he had followed the damn rules, we'd all be dead.
It's a diminished gravitas from the event itself. It's a transposed one. It's been refined and translated well after the fact. 7 years later, we're coming up with this story that is trying to encapsulate a real moment that was important to people, and I think Mr. Eastwood has succeeded. I think he has encapsulated a moment that was really important to people and somehow binds us all together in the best of all possible ways. Mayday, mayday, this is Cactus 1549. Hit birds, we've lost thrust on both engines. We are turning back towards LaGuardia.
Which engine did you lose?
Both engines. He's a master filmmaker, and you can tell that from any number goes on and on, the films that he's actually made movies. You want to say, I don't think anybody but Clint could have a movie that is literally as dark as that, or as minimalistic as that, or with as big a vast canvas as that. It's intimidating, but it's not fun, you know. It's incredibly pleasant. He's very accessible.
Don't worry, you did a great thing. It's gonna be remembered for a very long time.
Here's the funny thing. I've delivered 1 million passengers over 40 years in the air, but in the end, I'm gonna be judged on 208 seconds. It is, in a lot of ways, a quintessential New York story. And it's an era of goodwill. It's just a little bit different from, doing something else there. What's the name of the movie? Hey, is this Sully? They get a lot of that. Hey, is this Sully? And because I had the white hair, I was walking around town. Oh man, did I get a lot of that. Sully! I got an awful lot of the Sully screamed at me. Way to go, man! Miracle, miracle man! Miracle on the Hudson, man! Sully! I got that everywhere I went because of that shock of white hair and that beard. But that ends up being part of it is certainly it's the power of the movies. It's the power of the cinema. They already felt a part of something. His heroic act, I think, was that place where he stepped outside of himself, was to follow his instincts as opposed to the steps in the book. When he, in a nano flash of instinct, probably that he couldn't even like place himself in the timeline. But at one point, all of his sinews and synapses said, "There's only one place to land, and it's that big flat, expanse of water that's right in the middle." And if you were going to take time in order to have the longer discussion with yourself, you would have gone through that's never been done before. Every time it's happened, it's going to rip the engines right off the wing, and we are going to cartwheel, and we're going to fall apart, and I probably won't even survive. He didn't think that. He thought, no, I can make this landing. He will never say that he's a hero, But that was one heroic thing that he did.